Hey guys, Garage here, and we made another terrible financial decision by buying another travel trailer. And yeah, it is what it is. Travel trailers are what they are. They're built to a very poor standard, and they're all built like it's a Friday at 5 p.m. and there's a barbecue everybody wants to go to, and there's an open bar. I mean, that's the reality of it. That's the best way I can describe it. They are not built the greatest, especially the lower end units and lower cost units like this Rpod. Now, I spent my money on it, so it's not that terrible, but I only spent my money on it because I got a really good deal. If I had paid my local prices, I would not consider that a good deal. Prices are crazy in Arizona. They're starting to come down now that interest rates are high and everything, and they're putting out better deals because they can't sell anything. But anyways, I guess I could rant on that for a long time, right? So, Rpod. What we're going to do in this video is go through my 153, which is a 2022 model built mid-2022, and we're going to go behind the panels. We're going to take a look at the electrical. We're going to take a look at where the techie stuff is, so maybe you're a do-it-yourself person. You kind of understand where things are and maybe how to work on it. If there's a leak, you know what panel to open, you know, that kind of deal. I'm not doing a tour of the little 153. That's not what this video is about. There's a lot of other videos on that to show you all the pretty side of things. I'm going to show you the ugly side of things, and you know, behind this, the trim panels and stuff, you know, the whole smoke and mirrors thing that manufacturers pull. It's like, oh, this is a nice little piece of equipment. And then you get behind it, you're like, oh man, that thing is wired janky. So anyways, that's what we're going to do. I want to just shoot this, help you guys out, take a few measurements, and maybe you guys can get some ideas on stuff you might want to do. For our travel trailer, a 153, we've actually had it a few months, done a few trips in it. It's done really well, but I have modified the bejesus out of it. I've done a lot of upgrades to mine. It doesn't have the same fridge anymore. The electronics are totally changed out. The microwave is still the same in the hot water heater, but as far as electrically, that's mostly it. But I'll do another video on that later on. And for this video, like I said, this is really just about showing you where everything is and some measurements and stuff. I also hop on the roof and we get some measurements of the roof area because, man, this 153 has no roof area for solar, just a little bit of roof area. And I get some measurements up there so you can see what size panels you might want to fit. I mean, I said some negative there, but I got to say I do like this 153 layout. I like this rear door design. There's a few manufacturers doing it these days. It works well for a very compact trailer. The cab length, I think, is like 15 feet on this 153. I think the overall trailer length's 18 feet, so it's a really small trailer. Really lightweight, single axle. My preference is single axle. You can argue with me all day long, but I don't have blowouts like you guys do. I love my single axle lightweight trailers, and that's what I stick with. So anyways, let's get to this. Let's show you guys behind the panels, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments what you think. I mean, again, we're not going to show anything pretty. It's ugly stuff under panels and travel trailers, and this Rpod's no exception. But let's take a look at what we got. This is really nice to see. So we're getting into the charge converter on this thing. So it is lead acid and lithium friendly. It's got an auto detect feature. I'm gonna have to research a little more about that. I didn't know that when I got this, so it is really nice to see that the converter handles both. The model on this one is a 35 model, 35 amp model. So WF835 ADGE is the actual model for this converter. So yeah, I'm actually really happy to see that. So above this is a bench that usually has pads on it. You can convert it into a bed, or it's like a little couch. I'm gonna get this panel off and we're gonna take a look and see what we have underneath here. All right, guys, so we took off the top cover of the couch. It was just held on by some screws, and this is what we got. So there's actually an area behind the storage. You got your fender there. We have our outdoor shower, some wirings running along. And in this compartment is that's your charge controller and all the wiring. It's actually not nearly as bad as I thought. It's really not bad for Forest River and what I expected. I thought my Apex, oh my lord, you did not want to see the wiring. I mean, it just looked like a spaghetti Medusa mess in there. I mean, they could have cut the hole a little better. That looks like somebody fed a beaver Red Bull and he just went to town. But anyways, we got all our DC wiring here. This is the DC side. Some bell crimps, those are fine. I don't like the wire nuts on the main power. It looks like power input leads from the battery. That's kind of hokey. I'll fix that later, but not terrible.
We've got a little strip down here where they bonded all the grounds, DC grounds together. It's just a cheap terminal block to do it that way. Nothing wrong with that. Looks a little janky, but there's nothing wrong with that. Way better actually than I expected from Forest River. So you can actually see there's a hole that goes to the underbelly and goes below the trailer. You can see the layers of the floor there. I measured that at almost 2 inches thick on the floor. Foam core, it looks like the bottom layer is Luan, the top layer is like 1/4 inch MDF, or I'm not sure what they used on that, but it actually is pretty darn thick floor. I was surprised at that. But anyways, I hope that helps some of you out measurement wise. Let's see, let me put the camera down really quick. Let's take a look at that pot and pan. Now let's get some measurements of our interior space in case you guys are wanting to do something custom. So in here, we've got about 22 inches by, what do we got here? About 16, maybe 17 inches. That's the space for electrical. Like if you guys want to put an auto transfer switch or something, that'd be a great place for it. But overall, like I said, not terrible. I'm kind of surprised. That's better than I thought. I really had hoped to see the solar pre-wire going into here and through the fuses on the charge controller, but no such luck. I'm going to have to figure out where the solar pre-wire wires go. I suspect they probably just went straight to battery, but let's tear into something else. Here is the model of the fridge, N7V RM6. That's what came with it. It's got to be a 2-way. I'm not seeing anything for a 3-way here, which means it runs off, this fridge runs off propane and 120 volts only, either or. So you got some coils inside, and nice little fridge, pretty roomy. So that's the fridge, good sized door. Let's walk around to the outside so you guys can see what's in the refrigerator compartment. You do have a GFCI right here. Outlet. I guess it's auto reset, as far as I can tell. But that is the refrigerator compartment. Alright, so back of the trailer, we have this so-called pantry space with no shelves, and it's really dumb. But we have this fire extinguisher in a solid panel, and so what the heck's behind there? There can't be anything behind there. So I took out the furnace and the heater, and I can push it back and move it, and sure enough. So if you look back there, it's just a giant open cavity. There's... Sorry about that, trying to get the focus. There's nothing back there. So that's a huge waste of space, and yeah, I think I might do something back there with all that. But that's what that is behind your furnace. Now, to be able to take the furnace out, just so you guys know, you usually have to undo the line before it slides out of the cabinet. But and then to this side, the other side, is literally just that opening that goes into your charge controller over here. Just want to make sure everybody was able to see that. Alright, so we got some more openings under the bathroom sink. So there's a little panel with 4 screws you can take out. Buried back in here, that's the actual 30 amp service from the outside. That's where your say a generator hookup or a park hookup would go. You've got some other lines. Got plumbing, goes up and inside. Below here is a waterless trap. This is so you don't get stink up coming up your drain. So your waterless trap is right there, and that's kind of how all that is built. You can see some light. It's way back there. It's for the tail lights. Some electrical, I mean. That's all your plumbing and stuff. Then that's where the cables come up from, all your electrical items up top, all your switch panels and so forth. All of those come down, and that's where they are. And that's, you can see the floor cut out right there. So they all drop through the floor into the underbelly underneath the shower. Alright guys, so here's the electrical. You can tell they use their beaver on Red Bull to cut a hole again. God guys, you gotta do better than that. That is so janky. But the wiring's not bad, so I got no complaints. These Wagos on pretty much everything, DC, AC. I guess that makes it really nice just for a quick connect. And your solar pre-wire was sitting right behind here in a good spot, so you can see them. They're clearly marked. It's 10 gauge wire. It's actually quality wire. That's pretty nice. Our awning control and interior exterior lights, all that fun stuff, all the wiring is here. Looks well done. The crimps were solid. I got no complaints. So we have our radio up top, and it is in fact it does in fact have audio in. It looks like that would come from the TV, so you should be able to play the TV through the really terrible speakers that they included. Big old Wago bundle for all the audio. Got a fuse back in there. Everything is really tight in this area. Not a whole lot pulls out. There's some tension there, and I'm not going to pull on it. But that's kind of everything. That's what we have in this section. My main thing I wanted to see were these two 10 gauge wires. Now I got to figure out where the heck those 10 gauge wires go to. I know they go to the floor. They actually go that direction towards the back of the trailer. I assume that's going to be the hole or the exit, and then I got to figure out where they ran those to. But hopefully videos like these always help, because people can see wire colors or where things went, how things were wired, and it's important to see that kind of stuff. So we'll go through kind of slow again for those do-it-yourselfers and modders and everything. Make sure you understand where everything went and how it was all done. And the radio, I actually did frame it out for the radio. That's nice. Just put a little bit of wood framing there. All right, we took these two trim boards out so we can see underneath the sink. That's where we're at right now. So my fitting, my drain fitting, was loose on this, as well as a slip fitting here. And these were not very tight. They turned about I'd say a quarter of a turn each, your water inlet. So make sure those are tight. Takes 2 Phillips screws to take these out. That's the upper. And there is the lower. One thing to quickly note about the sink is they had this board way up here. Really limits your storage because they're trying to hide all the plumbing and wiring. But I mean, good grief, man. You can move that if you don't care about seeing a little wiring. You can get another, like, let's see, what is that? At least 5 inches minimum of storage space in there. Same with the top. You can see the holes right here. And I guess we do have our trap up top. Let's grab this panel. Yeah, I mean, you can already see the trap with the panel in there. So why not? I may notch this just a little bit right here. We can move this way the heck back in here. Actually, I don't even need to notch it. I can pressure fit it if you want to hide something. Jeez, look how much storage space I have. This is where the wall was before. Can't really tell the depth perception in a camera, but here, all the way back there, you can get a ton more storage in there. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. And actually, looking at this, let me see if I can get this out. The top, I don't care if we just have stuff in there. And this panel is definitely, yeah, that panel's gone, because that can just be used flat out for storage. If something gets wet, it gets wet, then there's a problem anyways, but I don't really care. So you got a ton more storage in there. That's like really, really deep. So yeah, that top panel is going to be left out. The bottom one will just be moved back. All right, so this is right next to the sink. This is where our hot water heater is. Both of my fittings here were very, very loose. I'm surprised they hadn't leaked already. They were extremely loose. I'd say maybe 3/4 of a turn each. That wasn't good, so I made sure to snug those up. I'm actually going to probably leave the screws out of this board, out of this cover, so it can be pulled quickly to be checked. There's no reason to have that panel screwed down. You can see our water pump back there. Right up, I don't know if you guys can see it, but right there is the strainer, right in the dead center middle of the screen. That's the strainer, so it's a filter. If you got crap in your water tank, that's where it'll collect. You got to clean that out. You've got some loops in here to winterize. You can see the hole in the floor. That is where the freshwater tank is, 30-gallon freshwater tank. They gave plenty of water, nice amount of water anyways, for a little tiny travel trailer like this. Beaver chewed a hole in that panel too. That's your water inlet. That's coming from outside the RV. Nothing too crazy. Pretty easy to get to. Trying to grab every angle in case somebody needs to see something, because as a do-it-yourself person and somebody that modifies a lot of stuff, all the angles matter. I get that. So I'm hope this helps some of you out. See if we can get that decal. Pause on there for a second. Alright. The 12-volt line. Water heater's kind of cradled in there. I think we're good. We're going to move on. Alright, so this is storage that is under, I guess the bed, I guess you'd put it. It turns into the dinette, but this is kind of under the bed area. So let's get a measurement of that storage area. What do we got here? About 28, 29 inches-ish. And I say ish because these things aren't built to precision. Who knows what you'll get. 22, maybe 23, a little less than 23, 22 and a half inches of storage volume. And tape measure stuck. And depth-wise, we've got about 15 inches. Gonna put some hinges on that board so it's easier to open, and I'm probably gonna have it open that way, kind of like a hatch. All right, excuse my mess, but as you notice, the storage doors are pretty small on this trailer. So let's take a look at what we've got. So clearance, left to right, we got about maybe 18, I'd say 18 inches. Let's just call it that to be on the safe side. Maybe a tad more. Vertically, we have, trying to get this lined up. There we go. Slipped again. There we go. A little over 13. Let's just call it 13 inches. So 18 by 13. That is the storage area. It's nice. They actually did aluminum framing under the bed. Wish they did aluminum framing on the cap and the roof, but it is what it is. See part of the water line heading that way for the shower. That goes to the outdoor shower. And your fresh water and city, as you guys saw, this is just a second ago you saw under the bunk with a hot water heater and the fresh water tank. So that's where that feeds into. It's just right there, city water connection. You got your fresh connection and your water heater right next to your storage. So that is that. So there is our battery disconnect and our battery. And I have found where the solar pre-wire goes. It is 100% direct to the battery. There's your ground that goes to the battery, and there is a 10 gauge in here, right here, that goes directly to the disconnect. That's your power disconnect. So that's where that is. One thing I want to point out with the battery boxes, these, I don't know why they do this. Most travel trailers have it. This is stupid, guys. If you've got a dog or on the campsite, they're going to run under the trailer and they're going to cut the hell out of themselves. It happens. You guys got to stop using these really long self-tappers for your battery boxes. That is just so half-assed. Forest River, please take note of that. past trailer, dog got cut, so not cool. I'll be fixing that up. Let's see. Let's get you some measurements from the cab, because I know some of you guys are going to want to put a toolbox here. Give me just a second. So for those of you that will be getting rid of your battery boxes and or putting your batteries in the box, a toolbox, a frame mounted box, I've got, as it sits, as they assembled it, 13 inches from the lip right there. So I got 13 inches. That's quite a bit of room. Of course, the further you go down, this area curves back, so you just get more and more and more room. So we are up under this thing, and up towards the front, we have an access panel. I've actually got it on the ground here. And in the access panel is all your 7-way stuff. So this is where your 7-way connects up. They use some nice grease fittings. All in all, yes, I think those are grease fittings. Yeah, they should be. I don't really have a huge amount of complaints. I mean, the enclosed underbelly is really nice. It's good for catching water, but it also is really nice. And they did this kind of nice. So, I mean, it looks like a mess to most people, but there's nothing crazy here. There's nothing too bad. So everything is there. Colors are there. So thought you guys might want to see that. This is where the cables enter. I'm going to go ahead and loom some of this stuff up. They loomed it here, but none of this is loomed. We'll get that taken care of. There's our 7-way cable. Expanding foam. You can see our propane line going from the tank. You can see the idiot that put the giant self-tappers. They're going to cut up a doggo. Don't want that. Propane line goes to the back. Thought you guys would like to see that. So, for you solar junkies, let's take a look at the roof. What can we do up here? What kind of space do we have? So, between our vents, black tank and the other, measure out, what do we got here? Right to the refrigerator vents, we have, well, I don't want to cut myself too tight on that. Let's just say we got 40 inches between the fridge vent and here. That's pretty good. So let's take a look. I think a lot of people will be doing a panel. Set my tape measure down. The area in between here is where most people will put a big panel. We got on this trailer 64 inches. I'd say we got room for 64 inches. If I go up a little higher, worst case, what do we got? 63.5 inches. All right. So we're gonna put this back, tape measure. Let's get up on this thing. This roof is walkable, so. Looks like we have one seam right here where we got wood. You can see the seam. There is our solar pre-wire. It's interesting, it's way the heck up there, but then the wire itself comes down way over here. That's a little odd. Here's that goofy antenna thing. Why they put this giant AC unit on this little tiny trailer that sticks way up, I'll have no idea. Bad choice. But so really, you've got some room to go kind of horizontal there. Let me get you a measurement on that. So, but not a whole lot, really. Let's see. So between this vent, we got about 46 inches. Maybe a little bit more actually, I'm sorry, 49 inches, 48 inches between there and there. It's a little bit of room. So what do we got up here? Between our fan and the front cap. So to here, we've got about 45 inches between the front cap and the fan. So if you have a panel 45 inches and a little less width, you could go this way. So what do we got? I'm trying to see it here, about 28 inches. So 28 inches there. But this is the roof. I'm not a super chonk, but I can tell you you definitely feel a little bit of give. My Apex had a much better roof than Rpods have. They're aluminum trussed and foamed and all that good stuff. This one is just batting and wood, and I think wood truss. So, but there's our MC4 connectors. That's what they did for the solar inlet. And can see up inside the AC unit. Not that you might want to, but it's there. All right, I'm gonna hop down now, and just want to make sure you guys are able to take a look what kind of room that we have. Wish I could back away a little bit, but kind of scanning backwards. I think I got the pertinent data for the solar dudes, solar ladies.
And that wraps up just the behind the panels video. Please stay tuned. I've got a whole bunch more video footage on all the modifications and upgrades that we've done to our Rpod. There is a lot of tips and tricks and how-tos and what parts and part numbers and all that kind of fun stuff coming. Like, subscribe, that definitely helps us out. So please do that if this video helped you out, and I will catch you guys later.